All right, so I pruned these apple trees yesterday. I should have done a video of them when I was pruning them, but figured for anybody who's got apple trees that are curious, it's really cold. It's about 8 degrees out this morning. But I'll just show you what we're looking for and what we do when we try to prune apple trees. This is the perfect time of year. You want to do it in the winter time when it's dormant. Cold's good, but we'll go over what we're looking for. So as you can see, I trimmed a bunch of these branches, and if you look at this tree, there's not a whole lot to it. It's not real big yet, which is good. That's what I'm trying to do, is keep them short. So this is a dwarf tree, and what that means is the root ball was grafted onto the rest of the tree, meaning it won't grow very big and tall. So you can still have a manageable size. I mean, you can still reach the top, and you can pick your apples from this. This is an apple tree. All right, so what we're looking for when we're pruning. What type of pruning I'm doing is I do have a central leader, which is right here. But I want most of my branches to come outwards and sit down. So this one eventually I'll train in the spring. I can't do that now because it's too cold. These branches are too brittle. Otherwise, I'd be tying these down and getting them to grow outwards. Now, a big reason why we do that to get them to grow outwards is because most of the time, fruit will not come off an upright branch. I mean, you have these little nubs. They will come off branches that are out to the side. So you want horizontal branches because that's what's going to fruit the most. You're not going to get more fruit from a vertical, so you want them all as horizontal as you can. So if you look, here we go, previous year, this was cut there, which allowed these to come out and sprout. There was a long leader here. I cut that off yesterday. And what that's going to allow this to do is these branches are growing horizontal. Once again, they're not big. They won't fruit this year, but or they didn't fruit this past year, but they will grow a significant amount this coming year. What I should have done is this one right here growing in towards the center of the tree. I should have took that off. I'll leave that for now. But we can see these branches are growing down and out. Once they get some weight of apples, you can start seeing all these little buds along here. There's a bunch right here. And I trimmed this one because this was getting long as well. And if you notice, if you take a quick look, here's a bud. And I trimmed right past that. That's an outer bud, so that's going to probably grow up, which is not really what I want. But that's okay because the bud behind it is growing this way and now help spread the branches outwards. So that's just one of these trees. This happens to be a enterprise, not a real popular tree. Not many people know about them, but it's okay. Over here we have Fuji's, and it's gonna be the same exact process. You can see this is real low. I'm right here, this is chest level for me. I'm 6'1", so it's not a huge tree yet, which I'm okay with because I don't want them to be big. I want them to train them so they're coming outwards. Now you can see this is the central leader. I did trim this back, so there's gonna be a bud coming. Oops, sorry. I did trim this back. There's gonna be a bud coming up. But you can see these are all little fruit spurs that are gonna come out of that on the sides. If you look, this is coming in straight out. That's awesome because you can see these are all little buds along here. These are going to be your fruit buds. That's going to be your new growth come this spring. Normally this tree is staked up. You can see that the stake broke off. We will tie that straighter back up because we want that to go straight up. And then you have more of your branches coming out. You can see here on end you had a double, and there's some buds that are going to come here. That's good. Those branches are going to come out. If I come over here, here's a bud that's going to come outward. I trimmed it there. Same thing with this, the bud coming outward, and we trimmed it here. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for outward buds, horizontal trees coming down. Don't be afraid to trim a lot off of them. You want a lot of airflow to these. Like I said, this is not a big tree, but this will produce fruit this year. You can see all these are your fruit buds. You have some on your horizontal, but we want this, once again, come the spring, we're going to want to pull that down. We'll weight it down to get that to grow horizontally. We have a pretty decent spacing. Here's one tree, there's your next. I don't remember exactly what they were. They might have been 10 or 12 foot between them, which is okay, not real significant, but it's enough when we start pulling these down. Same thing on that side, they're not going to touch each other, and we can keep them pruned. This is a pruning we took off. I mean, that's quite a bit amount that came off this tree that was here. You know, that made it quite up. We didn't want that there, so what we did was we took that off. We look for your central buds. You got buds, and once again, this spring we'll train that to come down. So this is a pretty thick tree. I could have probably took more off of this, but we're gonna kind of see how that one comes out first. We only have 6 of them in here, and it's pretty easy to train them. This is a good example. This was pruned previous. You see this was a bud, that branch coming down. That will help train that branch down. We'll get more fruit off that in the future. Along with these bottom ones, you can see they're all coming down and out. This was trimmed off. We'll help pull that down. Same thing all the way around that tree. This one I could have came up top, and I should have taken it off right about here, but that can always be done in a future year. Same thing here. You can see this was trimmed here, how that kind of comes out. That's perfect. And like I said, come this spring, we'll train these branches to kind of come down and grow more of a straight out aspect. All right.